Hey everyone, Board Game Brody here with Meeple Mountain. I was able to go to Great Plains Game Fest in Lincoln, Nebraska again this year, and I thought I'd share my experience with you all so you know what to expect if you decide you want to come in future years, as I think they have locked in the venue for the next 4 years. This year, the venue changed and was at the Cornhusker Hotel Marriott in downtown Lincoln. The venue had a lot more space than last year's venue, and there are 2 levels here with 2 huge rooms of tables. The event actually used all the rectangle tables that the Marriott had for the event. The convention started Friday morning and continued till Sunday evening. So, what did this convention feature? Well, there were play-to-win games, and what that means is you check out a game with your badge. I don't have my badge on here, but you would scan it, you'd play whatever the game is, and then you would return it and be entered to win that game at the end of the convention. You can go back and replay as many games later in the convention as you have, but you need to check them out and you can play what's available pretty much. And maybe you've seen these play and wins in other conventions, but this year I felt like these games were upgraded from last year. So my favorite of the games was Lost Ruins of Arnak, which a friend was able to teach me finally to get to play. Bot Factory, which I didn't get a chance to play. Libertalia, which from Stonemaier Games, which is a fun one to play. New York Zoo, I got to play with my kids and I enjoyed it, but it might have been a little too much for them. Planet Unknown, which I've played online previously. This is a great game, and I even covered it, my entire player board with all the tiles. So I felt pretty good about that. There were a bunch of others as well, and well, maybe the biggest one that you might see here is Cloudspire by Chip Theory Games. I was wishing to play it, but I was hoping someone could teach it to me rather than trying to figure it out myself, but you know, that's how it goes. Oh, and BA Games had a prototype copy of their new game, Forges of Ravenshire, there for the play and win area, so you could win a pledge to play their game, which would come out maybe sometime next year. So that was pretty cool too. So if you didn't like the selection of games for the play and win games, there is also a huge library of other games that you could play. Here in the library, you'd do the same. You'd go and you'd find a game, you'd check it out, you'd go and play it, and then you'd bring it back for them to check back in. They organized these games very well, I would think, but their alphabetical selection, as you can see here. If you were looking for a specific game, it was easier to find it, but then they had small games that were placed out on tables so your eyes could browse through those a lot easier to find a game that you might be interested in playing. So what else did the convention feature? Well, they had giant games. They had different games either placed out or you could check them out to play, and I kind of wish that I had more energy during this time to go and play some of these with my kids, but with the limited time and the little sleep I had, it actually did not happen. But there were some very cool giant games that you could play. There was a dedicated RPG room that was away from the giant halls, so a little bit to themselves. I didn't visit this room during the convention besides seeing it on the tour of what they gave me, but I got to check it out. It looked pretty cool to have their own room for that. I'm not sure if last year had a Discord channel, but this year it did. You could find people to play games with or play at, find certain scheduled events through there that were announced. They had events that were teaching how to play specific games or others that were tournaments to play a game to see, who comes out as the champion of that game. Like a Wingspan tournament or Point Salad, I think, was out there. Lastly, people were just playing games, and I was able to connect and meet with some new gamers. Someone taught me Arc Nova for the first time. That was great. They killed me because they were, experienced players playing with me, but it was fun to play a new game, and I really wanted to learn that one. Now, I got to find myself a copy of that game now so that I can play it at home, so that will be in the books as well. That also happened with another game that I ended up buying at the swap meet, which is one of the other features in the convention that they had. But I ended up taking my kids for the first time to this game convention. They were there in the evenings, and they absolutely just loved it. It was nice to show them that, we weren't the only ones playing games all the time at home. There are all these other people that like to play games as well. They also, so back to that swap meet, this is a place where you can get rid of your games, you can buy new ones. They had a system where you place sticker on the game and they're entered into their system. They're placed out on tables for anyone to browse through and then purchase for themselves with the listed price. And there were some top-of-the-line deluxe edition games out there, very popular games, and then there were some less popular, not-so-great games there as well. But this room kept gaining and losing games throughout the time there, and people would bring them in to sell, and then other people would purchase theirs and take them home. I ended up bringing some of my games that I didn't think that I would play anymore, and most of them ended up elsewhere. The swap meet is a huge way to support Great Plains Gaming Project, as you earned 80% of your sales, and the remaining 20% was given to their nonprofit charity. I ended up picking up a copy of Maglev Metro, which was that was the other game that was taught to me that I went and picked up. So I enjoyed that. Every time that I can actually learn a game after playing it, it makes it more likely that I'm going to buy it. I also then purchased a copy of Sheriff of Nottingham so that my kids can play that and they might understand how to lie at this point of their lives. So I thought it would be a fun game to play with them. So thank you for those who put those games out on the table and for them to come to my house now. I also had my eyes on a copy of Cahora that was there, but I never went back, and I was kind of seeing if the price would drop a little bit on it, but who knows what happened to that copy. And then, of course, they had booths where you could buy different things in one of the big halls. You were able to purchase different games there, or clothing, accessories, dice. I saw bunches of stuff. BA Games, of course, was there with their booth. They were showing and demoing their 2 games for everyone. So if you don't know about their games, you should totally check it out. And then we ended up actually staying at the hotel, the site itself, making things a little bit easier. It was about $125 a night plus taxes. The parking was $1.25 an hour with a maximum of like $11 or so for 24 hours. Or if you paid for the $6 pass from the convention, not at the hotel, but the convention people, it was $6 a day if you didn't move your car. But if you left, then you'd have to get another $6 ticket. And this just caused, some planning to know how many times you were going to leave, how many parking tickets you needed to buy, and, figure out what your plan was leaving and coming back and all that. The hotel was super busy too this weekend because there was a lot of other events going on in town. Ultimately, anytime you can get this many people together to play games, it's going to be a great time. I'd invite you to this convention. If you have any questions, please comment below. I can try to answer what I might know, and if you did go to the convention and you have an idea of what you can do or ideas to make it better, please comment below and I can get those comments to the right people, as I'm sure they would love to hear what you want to say about it or ideas for the upcoming years. But anyways, go to conventions. It's a great time to see other gamers, learn new games, meet new people, just kind of see what's out there. And it's a fun weekend if you're into gaming and finding out new things. And just so you know, there was about 1,000 people who attended the convention this year. They checked out 2,249 games with a total of 2,923 hours of playing those games. They gave away over 800 games total, including the playing wins, and the weekend badges got free games when they checked in. Now that's a lot of games played and given away during this convention, and hopefully we see those numbers going up for next year, so hope to see you there next year. Again, this is Board Game Brody, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Stick around and check out some other board game reviews to see what you might want to get to the table.